Hello my crochet friends, this is Sarah from Ned and Mimi, and in this video we are going to crochet the front post double crochet stitch, which I have used here to create this beautifully textured dishcloth. Now this stitch is a little bit of a mouthful, but I promise it is much easier to work than it actually sounds. Now I do have a free dishcloth pattern to accompany this video, and that's available on my website nedandmimi.com, and I have linked to that below. And in the written pattern you'll also find instructions on how you can modify this stitch pattern to make it in any size that you like. Now, before I get started, I do want to tell you that the washcloth pictured here is actually part of a set of 3 coordinating patterns that you can also find linked below. And each pattern is completely unique, but together I think they do make a really lovely matching set. In terms of the materials that you will need, you can really use any yarn and a suitable hook depending on the project that you're making. But for my dishcloth, I have used a worsted weight cotton yarn and a 5.5mm or letter I crochet hook. So without further ado, let us get started. So let's begin with a slip knot, and then for this stitch pattern we can chain any multiple of 2 plus 2, so any even number. So I'm going to chain 14. Okay, so this first row is going to be really easy. It's just going to be a row of single crochets. So I'm going to skip the first chain from the hook and then begin working into the second chain. And I actually like to flip my chains over and work into these little back bumps here, just because I feel like it gives me a neater edge to my work. So I am going to just insert my hook into the back bump of the second chain and work a single crochet, and then just continue to single crochet in each chain all the way along. Okay, so that is row 1 done. Now you don't have to do this step, but if you have a stitch marker, it might be a good idea to just find the second stitch here that you've worked. That was my first single crochet, this is the second, and just put a stitch marker around the body of that stitch. So it's a tiny bit tricky, but it is going to make our lives a little bit easier when we come to work row 3 very soon. Okay, so there we go. I think that should do. Okay, so that is just marking the body of that second stitch there. Okay, so let's go straight on to row 2 now. So this is going to be another row of single crochets, so super easy. So we'll chain 1 and turn. That chain does not count as a stitch, and then we're just going to single crochet through both loops. So just normal single crochets all the way along the row. Okay, so that is row 2 done. So that is the wrong side of our work. This is the back of our work. So let us go straight on to row 3. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and again that chain does not count as a stitch. Now I'm going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then my next stitch is going to be a front post double crochet around the body of this marked stitch here. So I think this is why it's helpful to have that stitch marked, because if not, you might just get a little bit confused about which stitch you need to go into. So when in doubt, always use stitch markers. So we can pop out the marker now, and then we will yarn over as we would for a regular double crochet. We're going to insert our hook from front to back around that stitch, and then around to the front again, and then we will just work our double crochet as normal. So rather than going into the top of the stitch, we're going around the body of this stitch. Then if we look back here, we need to skip this stitch, so the one just behind the double crochet that we worked, and we'll single crochet in the next stitch. Now we need to work another front post double crochet. So this time it's going to go into this single crochet here. So we're going to skip the next single crochet. So always working 2 rows down, and we're going to go around this one here. So we'll yarn over, insert our hook from front to back to front again, all around the body of that stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop, and then just complete our double crochet as normal. So the only thing you want to keep an eye on with these front post double crochets is that you're pulling up that first loop high enough just to make the stitch the right height and to not have your work kind of gather up too much. So let's do a few more of those. So we're going to skip this stitch back here and then single crochet in the next. Now we're going to skip the next single crochet 2 rows down and do a front post double crochet around this one. So yarning over again, insert our hook from front to back, to front again, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then complete our double crochet. Skip this stitch and single crochet in the next, and that's all we need to do. We just need to repeat that all the way along the row. Okay, so that is row 3 done, and that is the trickiest row. Once you have this done, the rest of it's going to be much easier, I promise. So now row 4 is just going to be chain 1 and turn and single crochet all the way along. Alrighty, so that is the back of our work, and that's row 4 done. So we're going to chain 1 and turn again. And now row 5 is going to be very, very similar to row 3, except that this time we're going to begin with a single crochet in the first stitch and a single crochet in the second stitch. And now we're going to work our front post double crochet stitch again going down 2 rows, and we're going into this single crochet here in between these 2 front post ones from row 3. So we'll yarn over, insert our hook all the way around that stitch and complete our double crochet. So for this row, we are going to have all our front post double crochets sort of in between the ones from row 3. So again, skip the stitch directly behind that double crochet and single crochet in the next. Then yarn over, insert our hook all the way around the body of the next single crochet, 2 rows down. Let's try that one again. Skip the stitch behind and single crochet in the next. And that's it. We're just going to continue repeating that pattern all the way along. Okay, so at the end of my row here, I've just got 2 more stitches left to work into, because if you remember, we did 2 single crochets at the start of our row there. So we'll just finish off in exactly the same way with our 2 single crochets. Okay, so now the next row, you can probably guess what it's going to be. It is just going to be a row of single crochets. So let's go ahead and work those now. Alrighty, so there is row 6 done. So we'll get straight into row 7 now. So we will chain 1 and turn. And the good news is that row 7 is exactly the same as row 3. So at this point, you actually have everything you need to know to be able to complete this stitch pattern. So we literally just need to keep repeating rows 3, 4, 5, and 6 for as long as we need to. And if you can, you will want to end on a single crochet row. So that's a row 4 or a row 6 repeat, and it'll just finish the pattern off nice and neatly. But honestly, if you need to finish on a different row to meet the measurements that you want to achieve, then that is absolutely fine as well. So I will go straight ahead and work row 7 now, and I think after this row you will have a really good idea of how this stitch pattern is going to come together. So I will begin with a single crochet in the first stitch and then get straight into our front post double crochet worked 2 rows below, and then just continue on with that all the way along. And that is row 7 done. So I absolutely love the texture from this stitch pattern. So all you need to do now is keep following along with the pattern for as long as you need to. And here is my finished dishcloth, and you can also see that I have added a simple single crochet border all around the edge for a nice neat finishing touch. I really hope you have enjoyed learning this stitch pattern, and of course if you do have a second to like this video and subscribe, that would be absolutely amazing. I have lots more crochet patterns and tutorials on my website nedandmimi.com, so do check those out. Happy crocheting and take care.